this point, I would like to give you a demonstration about how to use a formula or how to make a formula in Microsoft Excel lesson. So we will be touching the operators. I would like to give you some idea about the different operators that are commonly used in Microsoft Excel, and then the order of precedence as to how Microsoft Excel interpret the data that we or the formula that we enter to the cell. So I'd like to start with the first operator here. I would like to give you examples of how it works in this application. So I will just be making use of this data or values in my demonstration. So in starting with Microsoft Excel, we are to start with the equal sign. Okay, we first position the cursor to where you want the result to appear, and I would like to display it here. So let's start with the equal sign. And then instead of typing the value, you just click or point click at the value you want to include in the formula. Like suppose I would like to add 1 and 5. Okay, so I just have to click 1. Then type the operator you would like to include in your formula, and that is addition, the plus sign. Then click the next value you want to add. Okay, so if you're done, don't anymore add here, operator. Just simply press enter key. Then the result will just display. Okay, the Excel will just display the result of the computation. So that's how the addition works. Okay, so suppose I would like to edit the formula. I want to add more values to be computed in this first formula in the addition. I just simply double click at the cell. Okay, then at the last character, I'll just add another operator, then click another value to be added, okay, to the formula. Then add, then click. Okay, so that's how we do the editing of a formula on the cell. So let's just click enter, and there the result will be updated by the Microsoft Excel. So let's now move on to the subtraction. How about subtraction? Okay, so again, in starting with the formula, we are to always start with the equal sign. Then click at the value. So we need a bigger value here. Okay, the first value must be bigger. Okay, next we have to just type the operator we want to include. That's subtraction, that's dash. Then click at the value you want to subtract. Okay, so that's how we do the subtraction, after which we just hit enter key to display the result, and that's it. So that's how we perform subtraction. So let's move on to the multiplication. So we will be using the asterisk as our multiplication symbol. Okay, so again, so same thing, we are to just click at the value we want to include in our computation, then type the asterisk, then click at the value we want to compute or multiply, that's 15. Okay, next enter. Another is the division. So again, we want to divide 20 to 4. Okay, so we just have to start with the equal sign, then click at 20 divided by, type the operator division, then click at the value we want to multiply to divide. Enter. There you have it. Next we have the exponent. Okay, so again, let's start with equal sign, then click at the value we want to be added with exponent, like suppose 5. Then type the symbol exponent, then click at the number which you want to be exponent of that value. Next, hit enter to display the result. So this is already the result. So that's how the Microsoft Excel works. Okay, for the percentage, okay, so percentage works this way. So equals, let's say 400 times 5%, suppose. Enter. Okay, so there you have it. This is the result. So this is how we make use of the formulas in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so what if you have multiple operations to perform in a single formula, like suppose you want to have an addition then the division, okay, simultaneously in a single formula. So to do that, let's check how Microsoft Excel compute with multiple operators. So suppose I would like to compute for the average of these values. Okay, so I should type equal sign starting with the formula, then click at the value, then I will add. Of course, that's how we do it using a formula. Okay, then I will divide it into 5 because that's what we practice when we multiply or get the average of the values. We multiply it with or by 5, then enter. Okay, so do you think this is the correct result? Do you think the result is really indeed 55? Okay, so let's check. Why do you think I think the answer is not 55? So instead of doing it this way, we are to make use of the what we call parentheses. Okay, so we first have to do the grouping. If we wanted that Microsoft Excel will do the addition first, then we are to enclose those group of values with the addition operators, okay, so that Microsoft Excel will first perform the operations before it divides the values into 5. Okay, since the first priority here of two operators in our formula is the division, then like what happened in the first formula, the result of the first formula, Excel divide first the values before it adds. So in this result, we noticed that Excel divide first the value, the E6 here, which is 25, divided first into 5 before it sums up the rest of the values, simply because Microsoft Excel prioritizes the division operator over the addition. Okay, because that's the what we call Excel rules, or the what we call order of precedence. Okay, so to remedy the problem in this formula, we are to group first, okay, the values with the addition operators, so that Microsoft Excel will first perform the addition over the multiplication, because those enclosed in parentheses is prioritized by Microsoft Excel in terms of computing. Okay, so if we hit enter key here, I guarantee that 15 here is the correct result, or is the average value of this group of values. Okay, so that's how Microsoft Excel works. Our demonstration now is about the use of references. Let's find out why we have to use cell reference in our formula in computing values. Okay, so I will be making use of the sample data here as my source in using a cell references. Okay, so in making a formula, we again start with the equal sign. Then why do you think instead of typing 1 and 5, okay, which we can also do it in computing values in Excel, why do you think I would prefer to use a cell reference? Okay, like instead of typing 1, I just have to click at the value, then click again the value instead of typing the direct value, and I will have the same result. Okay, so let's say I want to perform the same operation to the rest of the values here. I want to add the first two columns here, like what I did in the first row. Okay, like adding again 2 plus 10, then 3 plus 15 in this column. Okay, so if I'll copy the formula in the first sample, I will be having the same result because I copied at the same time the content or the direct value I entered to the cell. Okay, so that's the another bad point of using a value or values in a formula. While in the use of the cell reference, if I want to perform the same operation to the rest of the record, like just dragging the fill handle here, I will have the correct result. Okay, so 2 plus 10 is indeed 12, and 3 plus 15 is 18, and so on. Okay, why? Because, okay, let's try to look back the content of the formula. Okay, the two formulas. Here, I have 1 plus 5. Here, I have B2 plus C2. Okay, so if I'll drag down the value here, I'll be copying not just the formula but the content, the 1 and 5, to the rest of the cell. Where in this second formula, if I copy the formula, okay, if I am already in this row, the value or the reference adjusts to its exact location. Okay, so this is the what we call relative reference. And if I copy it here in this row, the value or the cell address adjusts to its location, and that's B4. If I'm already here, it will become B5. And if I'm already in this cell, it will become B6. Okay, that means the address adjusts to its exact location. Okay, that's what makes this kind of method effective in terms of copying the formula. Okay, so it makes my computing easy because you don't have to type again and again the formula like what I did here. Like if I want to compute the two values here, the 2 plus 10, I have to type 2. Okay, then type the value again and again. 3 plus 15, then 4 plus 20, then 5 plus 25. Okay, so that's one of the pitfalls of this way or of this method of using a formula in Excel. Okay, so I prefer to use this what we call references because it adjusts. Okay, if in case I would there are changes in the content, like suppose the 10 here is will just become 8. Okay, I mean, okay, if 5 here will become 7 in case I want to change the data, then Excel automatically recomputes or recalculate the result of the formula. Okay, also, but if the data changes, Excel automatically updates the change. Okay, so that's another good point of using the what we call reference in Microsoft Excel. Okay.